Hello, hello. There we go. Good morning, everyone, or the few people that are watching just me today. Yeah, that's right, just me. I can turn the other. Oh, there we go. That sounds better. Brennan is out, so you got just me today. So here we go. Let's jump right into it. I'm meteorologist James Gilbert. That's my email there if you want to email me. And I've got the Jaguars colors behind me. How about that? Go Jags. Jacksonville Jaguars beat the Kansas City Chiefs last night in a crazy fashion. Um, Trevor Lawrence, their quarterback, on a touchdown drive, fell on the ground 2 yards away from the end zone, got back up, and then ran into the end zone and scored. So pretty amazing there to see that. So if you watched the last game, you're up and you're watching me. And okay, we're going to talk about a lot of things. We're going to do weather. Then we're going to cover Mount Everest because I think that's really interesting. And then we're going to cover the University of Rochester, which I thought that was kind of interesting. Their rebrand. We'll look at What's Up Rock from this morning and everything. So thank you again for joining me. I know it's just me, but that's okay, right? I can be entertaining, I hope. The weather guy has a lot to say. Let me tell you, as scientists. Okay, so gorgeous sunrise this morning there. I hope you caught that. That was cool to see. We're getting rain right now. I'll pull it up for you. I'll pull up the radar, and some people are seeing showers. And these showers, I think, are much welcome as it's been so dry lately. Severe drought, current situation. And that has just gotten worse and worse and worse over the past few months, as it's been really just an incredible July, August, September stretch, driest stretch of those 3 months on record. And we're going to try to change that. We got to get some rain up in here, and we're going to be doing that right now. So we've got some rain showers in Orleans County. So Orleans County is to our west. What we need is Cam 1, input 1, which I will make it happen. I'll make it happen. Put it into existence. There we go. So there it is. There's the rain. Orleans County. Not a very populated county. Not a lot of people live there, but a beautiful county. I used to have to go up there on Lake Ontario when I did those stories on 2017 and 2019, the flooding out there. I did a lot of work out there in Orleans County, up there on Lake Ontario State Parkway, going through Kendall and things like that. Just so beautiful, right on the water. It's not that crowded as well. The beachfront properties there are just so beautiful. And they're getting rain. Carlton comes to mind. It's a cute little fishing town up here. If you've ever been there, you know what I'm talking about. Carlton, there it is. Point Breeze. Great spot there just to check out. I bet the foliage there is just starting to go as well. Well, they're getting rain. That is pushing out into Lake Ontario. Kendall, there it is. Kendall's getting some good rain too. Hilton, Hamlin, these areas are currently under a severe drought. This is so good to see. Glad to see we're getting some rain. And I'm curious to know if some of this rain looks like north of Rochester through Greece is even verifying, because it's been so dry and relatively low dew points at the surface might be preventing that from happening. I got to take water breaks, folks. I can't just keep talking for this long. But if you're with me and you haven't changed the channel yet, thank you. I appreciate that, because I know some people love weather. My wife was having a conversation with somebody else. She was telling me about it, how they were super interested that she was married to a meteorologist. And they were like, oh, do you just talk to James all the time, all day about weather? And my wife says, no. Not really, because my wife isn't into weather. She didn't even know I was a meteorologist when we initially met, which was at a bar. And so she's not interested in me because of the weather. It's just a job to her. To other people, I think it is very interesting, and I appreciate that. Shout out to my mom, for example, who just loves weather and is interested about weather. And some people are, and I think that's great. I think that's awesome. But if you're not into weather, that's awesome too. And if you're stuck with me right now, you're going to talk about weather. This is a front. It's a cold front. I can zoom out and see there's the boundary. And let's put this in animation and see how it looks here. So it'll be, this is a 1 hour loop. Give me a 3 hour loop, even better. I have much better control over this than I do when I'm sitting in that chair over there. So this is kind of nice, actually. And we have something to talk about. This is the rain. Thank goodness. Okay, so what I'm watching is this thick. Oh, I think I might even be able to John Madden this if I really want to. This thick line of heavy rain from Erie, Pennsylvania, kind of up I-90 up the thruway there. I wonder if this is going to work its way up in our direction. I think it will, based on the orientation. That would be good. That would be nice to see if that just big old batch of rain came through. It is 9:06, so that would probably be here by 11. I would say 11 to noonish. And then if I want to do a big zoom out, we can kind of look at this entire boundary all together. We just haven't gotten these fronts. We didn't get any of these all September. You see a lot of rain behind it. A lot of the rain that you see from Cleveland to Buffalo, that's all prefrontal rain. The stuff behind it that's through southern Michigan heading into Detroit, that's the actual boundary. So I'm sure, see it back in Chicago. I'll circle it for you. There's Chicago. They're on the back edge of it. So they're probably going to be done with the rain, and they're going to actually feel the impacts of the cooler air that's coming from the north. So they'll be the beneficiaries of that nice refreshing air, and we'll have to wait for it until tomorrow is when we get that front. Let's check some of our cameras here. Ooh, what's going on here? Look at this. Look at this. This is good stuff. Oh, I don't have the control of the cameras here. Back in the weather studio, I can actually control the camera, so I would have panned this to the north. But you can see something's going on there, right? Let's see here. Let's advance this. Clearly something's going on. That is rain. For sure that is rain. Let's see here. Wait to the end. 69 degrees. It's very warm. That's rain right there. So that's cool. That's a good sign. So that rain was on radar, right? So that camera was in Greece, Charlotte. This is one of my favorite things to do. I'm telling you right now, I love doing this. I love looking at radar and then getting the real-time data. So let's zoom all the way into where that camera is. So there's the bay, but we're not looking towards the bay. We're looking towards the river. Yes, right here, right? So that's where that camera is, Ontario Beach. Zoom out. So this is the rain that you're seeing right there, that downpour, that little yellow splotch. Some people would see that and be like, not a big deal, James. But I'm like, it's so cool. Okay, so there it is. Verified. Glad to see that. Good to know. Let's check out the Futurecast here if I can get that pulled up. Oh, this is a fun number right here, right? So September was so dry, 0.3 inches. That's it. The record was 0.28. 1960, I think that was set for the driest September on record. We got 0.3, so basically the driest on record. Today, 0.35, and that's an estimate. I think we'll get more than 0.3 at the airport through midnight. If we don't, then we don't. But it's just funny that we could literally get more rain today, this afternoon, in a few hours than we got for the entire month of September. It's bonkers. It's incredible. Okay. Still strolling to the Futurecast real quick here. We can go through this real quick. I want to talk about Mount Everest here, so we'll get to that in a second. So there it is. There's the rain pushing through. I think that this model's probably struggling with it a little bit because you can see oftentimes how we kind of figure out, because there's so many different models out there. There's the European model and the GFS and the Canadian model. And so what we do is we oftentimes will look at how a model is verifying at that moment and then look at the radar at that moment, right? So if you look at this, it's doing okay. This model is here because you've got the rain kind of on the west side, but maybe this is a little bit slower because the rain is kind of already overhead. So who knows? It may last until noon. There's some dry time in here, and then it picks up. I think we did with another round of showers going into tonight. So give it till about midnight or so, and then the rain tapers off. And then, hello, fall. It will really feel like fall. Let's get the 8-day forecast up here. Let's just do the whole weather. Why not? 10 o'clock. It's 9:10. We got time. There's your 8-day forecast. Much cooler as we get into Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And you see the overnight lows down into the 30s as well. So chilly there. Maybe even some frost possible. Inland away from Lake Ontario. You got to be awake from the lake to get any frost. So, okay, let's do this. Mount Everest. What's up? Big story out there. Stranded on Everest, they say. So people are constantly going up to Mount Everest and always trying to get to the top, right? There's this desire to be on the highest place on Earth, which is actually ironic because technically it's not the highest place on Earth, just the equator is, because the Earth is shaped kind of funny. It's not a perfect globe, but in relationship to sea level is actually what the highest point is. Cam 1 left, video 1. There we go. Now you can see me talk as we cover this. several hundred people stranded on the top. Sadly, some people have lost their lives. I do feel like, though, if you go, you kind of assume that there's going to be a risk. And for what it's worth, a lot of the Sherpas that go up also lose their lives. Talk about unspoken heroes. They do so much incredible work. About 350 hikers caught in the storm have been guided to safety by rescuers at last report, taken to the small township of Qudang, Qudang, near the eastern slope of Everest. A male hiker, 41, reportedly died from hypothermia and acute altitude sickness, according to a Chinese state media outlet, because Everest is right on the border between Nepal and China. And I think Nepal is that's where most of the guides are from. And it's a pretty poor country. A lot of these Sherpas make their living bringing people up and down Mount Everest. So I just think it's so incredible to see how many people are on this. So I was searching. Yes, Mount Everest is often very crowded, especially during the main climbing season in late April to May. And then this is also a very popular time. So in the spring and in the fall, which is interesting because it's kind of the opposite for us. Usually the spring and the fall are actually the most active times for weather, but for them, it's actually kind of the opposite there. So you get to wait in these queues at high altitudes, which obviously can be very dangerous. If you do want to go, thought this was kind of interesting. The average cost of an expedition is, so if you want a budget local operator with minimal support, $30,000 to $45,000. Mid-range, medium amounts of support, some services, $45,000 to $70,000. And then on the high end, if you want to really go big, go up in class, it's going to be about $100,000 for climbing. It depends on what side you do it on as well. There's a couple of different ways you can do it. Most people are coming up from Nepal, which I thought was interesting. You have to have good mountaineering skills, but there's no test, right? There's no, you have to be of a certain fitness. Okay, maybe you do. Since 2019, Nepal has required climbers to have submitted at least one other mountain in Nepal above 6,500 meters. So Everest, I think, is about 30,000 feet up. So you got to go, doing some quick math, you got to go up at least 3 miles up, right? So you got to have some sort of experience if you're hiking up there. Before granting a permit, you have to have a permit because you can't just have anybody going up there. Okay, once you get to Kathmandu, which is the capital in Nepal, you have to prove that you're medically fit to go up there, and then you have to do a basic course. So when you go skydiving, you have to do like a 10-minute, 15-minute course to learn how. It's the same thing, right? Okay, yeah, looks about right. I've never had any desire at all to do anything like this. It just seems too risky. But I think there's just kind of adrenaline junkies that just love it. They just want to, that's what they want to do. They want to climb big mountains. I think the Adirondacks there's so many great peaks in the Adirondacks. There's so many great spots everywhere else and things like that. So let's stay in the United States, right? Do that. Stay safe. All right. This was fun. 15 minutes in. I'm going to take a quick break here, quick commercial break. I'm going to be back. I want to talk about the University of Rochester rebranding. Thought this was an interesting story. We'll also talk National Taco Day there as well. All this good stuff. And all right, we've got some great news here on Second Cup of Sunrise. Special guest, Ryan Turco. Come on in. Thanks for joining me.
Of course.
So you saw the stream in the hallway and you're like, James looks pretty lonely.
No, well, yeah. I mean, you gotta have a friend to do this, Second Cup of Sunrise. It's weird drinking coffee by yourself.
I appreciate that. Yes, it is a social activity for sure. So I did want to talk about the U of R rebranding. You are obviously steeped in the branding of News 8.
Sure. You're creative director here.
You're creative director here, and you basically make us look good. All the commercials that you see when we jump on are directed by you, basically, right?
Yeah, and me and my team. Yeah, we lots of brainstorming and stuff goes into the stuff that we do and working together and creative ideas.
Right. And so after, I feel like a long time, when things start to get a little bit stale, you say, you know what, we got to try something new. We got to look at what type of branding we want, how people want to think about us. And the University of Rochester just did that. They recently announced new brand strategy on Friday with a new look to the university's public appearance and name. They changed it from their kind of blue and gold logo to just a very simple look as well. So let's see if I can find what it actually looks like.
Yeah, you see this a lot lately. I mean, the big shakeup just like a month ago was the Cracker Barrel.
Cracker Barrel was the big one.
There was a huge uproar over that.
Right.
And I actually read a really interesting article regarding things continue to get simpler. They keep trying to make things simpler.
Yes.
And I don't think simple is always the best, necessarily.
Yeah. So there's the logo. I'm showing it now.
Yeah.
What do you think about making it more simple and getting rid of the color as well?
I'm not a fan of that.
Really?
It looks like a stick figure drawing.
It does
kind of.
I thought they would save some money on ink, I guess.
True. Yeah, the one color, and maybe that's it. Maybe, money. But it's interesting too, because you also have UR Medicine.
Yeah.
And I immediately, when I saw University of Rochester, I jumped over to their site. They didn't rebrand that.
Oh, interesting.
So that's still the same.
Okay.
But then you have this new logo for the school. So interesting. Is the school trying to kind of separate themselves in a sense and look for their own identity?
It's such a big umbrella of things, the University of Rochester, right? It has its hands in so many things. I know a doctor he's a doctor of pediatrics, works for the University of Rochester, and we were like near UR Thompson, and I was like, you ever work over here? And he's like, no, it's totally separate. So there's so many parts of it that are just totally separate. And I think also the U Rochester thing is interesting. They're asking people to start calling them U Rochester. And I think, I guess they just want it to be concise and they want the Rochester identity to be there. But you have RIT, which is obviously not going to change. And then U Rochester just seems so different. And I'm definitely recognizing in myself that it's like change is hard.
Yes, of course.
And like, it's like I said on TV this morning, it's like I have an old friend who we always called him Tony. And then as he got older, he was like, guys, can you start calling me Anthony again?
Sure, yeah.
and like, it's a really hard transition. Like when you see your buddy goes, hey, Tony, what's going on? But no, I mean, he wants to be called Anthony. So, slowly but surely you're going to change it to Anthony, right?
Yeah. Well, and one of the things relating back to us, when we went HD, was that 10 years ago or more now?
Yeah.
The solution was to just add an arm on the end of the 8. And it was just like the 8 logo had this weird appendage hanging off of it that just said HD.
Yeah.
And so from our team's end of things, like you can't center that now. Where do you center it? Do you center it in the 8 or do you center it in the logo with this now arm hanging off of it?
This appendage.
Right.
Yeah. That's sticking out.
So
that's always a question is not only you have the brand, you have the idea of how you want to use the brand, and then you have to figure out how it goes on to logos. Right?
Sure. Yeah, and I'm assuming this is mainly the college, that they're trying to separate themselves from the hospital in its sense and have the hospital be its own thing. And but yeah, I don't agree. I don't think simple is always better.
No. Right. Yeah, and I think that it's just now everything's going to be separated, and now you got to buy all the new merch.
Sure.
Right.
No, maybe that's it. Yeah. The college isn't enough to go there. You got all new merch now. You can't be wearing rocking the old stuff.
Everybody is now going to have to change the pullovers and the hoodies and everything like that. Anything coming up in News 8 that you got interesting?
So here, let's give a little soft preview.
Yeah, there you go. Give us the dates.
We if you download the app and you have it right now because you're watching this,
right?
Down in the corner of the screen, kind of below over. Let's see if I do this right. Somewhere over here. Down there,
is
going to be a Josh Allen helmet, And if you scan that QR code,
Yeah.
you can enter to win a Josh Allen helmet. And so that's a really exciting thing that we are launching right now.
That's pretty cool.
And it's only for the people that use the app. So you have to have the app to enter that.
That's great.
Yeah, we got our sports drive coming up next week for sports equipment. Let's see, next Tuesday. So you can come here and drop off your used sports equipment with Primetime 585.
Nice.
We're gonna do a drive-through. Yeah, because you won't see
was
that.
a big one.
You're sleeping at that point probably.
Oh yeah, for sure. What,
that's
6:30ish?
Yeah,
like that.
yeah.
I'm wrapping things up for sure. Yeah, we are wrapping things up. But that's was an interesting thing. I was a little nervous that it wasn't going to be that successful, but it was wildly successful.
Oh yeah, the sports drive last year.
Yeah, the sports drive, right?
Yeah.
Because gloves get too small,
Sure.
right, for the little ones. Baseball bats, you have a bat for your 8-year-old that within 2 years is going to be no good anymore.
Yeah.
And oftentimes it's either you find somewhere to donate it, or you can bring it here.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and we work with Karen from Primetime 585, and she gets it back out in the community and finds a use for the stuff. So
that's great.
Yeah, it's exciting. It's exciting.
Yeah, she's been doing a great job. I see her often. She comes in and they record their Primetime 585 at like 11 o'clock or whatever. So I see them come in and record that, and she's got great energy.
Oh. Yeah, and then she does her show in here afterwards.
Oh, okay.
I told her she's the first person. For those of you that don't know, there's a soundproof door. We're in a studio.
Yeah.
And the building was built in the 40s.
Yeah.
The door to this studio is that thick.
Yeah.
And I could hear her voice down the hallway. She's broken the barrier of the soundproof door.
That's amazing. Right. Yeah.
She's got some great energy.
She does.
Definitely had her second cup.
Oh, yeah, for sure. She has. And she covers the football and high school football and things like that. I'm desperate to go to a high school football game, but the kids' bedtime is like 7:30.
Sure.
And the game starts at 7.
That's tough.
So we're cutting the nap off next week for both kids.
Oh, really?
I got a 2-year-old and a 4-year-old, and they both are really tired and get super crabby.
Yeah.
If they don't nap. But we're getting to the point where we'll bring them upstairs at like 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and they'll just like sit in their room and just like look around.
It's not working.
So they're not going to fall asleep, and they're going to get crabby. So I might as well just push them through the day. But then they fall asleep like this.
Yeah, a nice early bedtime. Yep.
Yeah.
I got you there, man.
You got older ones. They're probably not napping anymore.
7 and 11, but I remember that transition.
Yeah.
Because it usually happens right around the time when you finally get the nap routine figured out.
That's right.
And then it's like, oh, now they're not napping anymore.
I know. Right.
You finally are used to having that hour window where like, oh, I can get this stuff done.
Right.
So now it moves to the evening hours. So if they go to bed earlier, well, you're going to probably just go to bed.
I will go to bed. Yes, I will go to bed. And, it's so funny. They, want to help so much with chores. Like, when I wrap up with dinner, they, want to wash the dishes. But it's more like they just want to play with the water and splash it all over the counter.
Why not? Yeah.
That's their
You're
idea.
easing them into the household tasks, though,
Yes. Yeah, exactly. Well, Ryan, thank you for joining me
of course,
on the Second Cup of Sunrise.
Yeah.
And this was great. If Brennan is not back tomorrow, I might be calling you down the office.
Yeah, pull me in.
Sounds good. All right, thank you, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Get the Rochester First streaming app today for everything you love from News 8 On Demand, plus exclusive shows you won't see anywhere else. Search ROC and download for free on Roku, Amazon Fire, and Apple TV.